Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to get us all focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, need a new eyeglass prescription-worthy podcast. Today is Friday, the 5th of November, 2021. Now, Kristy, I think we've talked about this on the pod before. The single best performing article in the entire history of the Optimist Daily is how to correct your eyes without eyeglasses. And it's this funny thing that's happened with the company, right, where you write an article that gets perfectly indexed on SEO because it's a question people Google, and then you rank the highest. And so every single month we have to factor out, when we look at our company-wide analytics, this article about how to see better without glasses. Cut to this morning's team meeting. I'm sitting here watching both Kristy and Amelia looking fabulous in their glasses, realizing I'm squinting, and it's time I went ahead and got some new glasses. So...
Or you can start doing those exercises that we talk about in that article where you like go up and down and around and eat lots of carrots.
Yes. And I am also a tired, aging, what do they call us? Geriatric toddler moms. So I need my glasses and I need my Optimist Daily. Although this weekend, since it's Friday, it's super TGIF. I have some fun things happening this weekend. My daughter gets to spend the weekend with her grandparents who are coming to visit. And we're going to go to soccer practice and swim school. And I'm going to have a really fun weekend.
Is Brennan already doing soccer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She is.
So you're taking the whole soccer mom thing really literally then.
Oh, totally. I am a
2-year-old soccer
mom. I bring cut up oranges. It's a thing.
Okay.
No. So, but it's funny. Let me paint a picture for you of what like a 2-year-old soccer class is. It's a coach. It's a well-intentioned coach who's laid out dots on the ground that all the children are supposed to stand on their respective dots. Yes. And the parents are supposed to stand a bit behind their children just to encourage them.
I've been to my share of little league games where it's not about actually playing anything. It's about team building or following directions.
Oh, yeah. No. Following directions, maybe. Team building, maybe. Mostly this is just about trying to get like all the children to maybe do one thing the teacher tells them to. Yeah. So it's actually very cute, but it's a total chaotic mess. And I find on the weekends, it's like a good way for me to get some of her energy out because I am way less fun than school. You know, that moment as a parent when you realize that like when you're stuck at home with your mom all weekend, when you'd really rather be at school.
Yeah. Well, and also you do get the other soccer parents, so you get to have a little bit of human adult contact.
Oh, you would think, but not my daughter. Brennan's usually like on the other side of the field picking up. Like last week, I don't know how, but she found 3 baseballs and brought them over. And anyway. But yes, all right.
Well, enough about
soccer. Exactly. Enough about soccer. Enough about weekends. Unless you want to tell us what you're doing with your weekend.
Oh, I take every day as it comes. I don't really make plans.
All right. Well, we all liked hearing about your Zune watching party. So,
but I will definitely be, now that I'm going back into like friend gatherings, I have to tell you, I'm so much happier. I feel like myself again in a way that I guess I'm an extrovert. I get energy from being with other people. I do have introvert tendencies at times, but actually I now know that I need to be around others.
You love the humans.
I like the humans.
You love the humans. And as such, you want to save the humans, don't you?
I do. I do. Yeah.
You want to make this world a better place for all the humans.
I do.
You're up.
Yeah. So today had some really great headlines. I think we're all going to be paying attention to some of the environmentalist climate change headlines, and the people who are doing good work along those lines now that COP26 is happening, which, by the way, is more like a work convention for folks who are in sustainability and circular economy and trying to clean up the atmosphere. So it's a huge conference, I think, in addition to a world leader conference. It's like a business conference, but I'm not there, so can't really.
But you're looking at it on the internet.
I am,
right?
I am, and I'm paying attention, and we are all paying attention, and
exactly.
I'm hopefully, like the announcement about ending deforestation, that's huge. Super pro that. The announcement about cutting back on methane emissions, as they say in England, and I think is super important because methane is one of the worst heating gases. But another thing to think about when we think about environmentalism, you know, we tend to think about forests and bees and whales in the ocean and polar bears, and those are great characters to capture our imagination. But really, being an environmental steward, we have to think about human health, and that's what really makes a difference. And so the headline I wanted to talk about today reads, "This is the most detailed map ever of U.S. cancer-linked industrial pollution." And this is the beginning of the clean air, clean water movements, was about air quality. Right. And air pollution, living in the cities, living where we do and driving how we do, and even in our homes, is one of the worst things that we have to face as people living in a modern society, or even in, you know, huts. Wood stoves are not so great for air quality either. But air pollution, it's linked to so many human diseases, including asthma, cancer, heart disease, and it's disproportionately felt by certain populations because the way that our cities have been built, the industrial sectors end up getting placed generally in more the disadvantaged neighborhoods, places that have lower income profiles, often communities of color. But it's one thing to say that, and air pollution is not something you see very easily, unless you're in the middle of like a forest fire, then you can see it. But it's still, the particulates that are in the air can really affect and damage us. So breaking down where air pollution is most potent and why is the first step in ensuring that we clean it up and that we get access to healthy, clean air sort of more equitably distributed. So there's a new tool coming out of ProPublica, which is the first ever map to offer a fully comprehensive viewing of cancer-causing U.S. industrial air emissions down to the neighborhood level. And it uses the data from the EPA, a model called Risk Screening Environmental Indicators. It's a map that's the product of 2 years of intense research and analysis, and it builds this model that takes into account emissions, weather, industrial facility location, and it estimates concentrations of toxic chemicals in neighborhoods surrounding those facilities. But then it also talks about the cumulative cancer risk of multiple exposure sites. So when you have a cement factory next to a garbage dump, next to a steel company, next to a place where you store all the city buses, all of that, like, it's cumulative. It lays on top. And then kids growing up in those neighborhoods, playing in those schoolyards, are the ones who end up with asthma and other chronic situations that last their entire lives. Anyway, I just think this is something to remember, that environmental stewardship is really about making a clean, healthy environment for more people. And also, you know, environmental justice is really about social justice as well.
It's so important for us to just remember that, right? And the idea that you have to be in sort of a privileged enough seat to worry about the environment because you're not fighting for survival. This notion that there is a separation between social justice and climate justice, fortunately, is going away, right? And recognizing that taking care of this world and taking care of our earth is actually taking care of all the people on it is fortunately becoming increasingly, in conversation. And certainly what is happening at COP26 and all of the other discussions around is that alignment of taking care of all of our people. And, I'm really excited by this story as well. So I guess I'll dive into another public health story. Seems like that's the beat today. If you are interested, this is also a beat that I particularly like because as a mom with a kid who always has ear infections, I am constantly fighting antibiotic resistance. So my headline reads, "New invention slashes time in diagnosing antibiotic resistance." Now, there is no overuse of antibiotics, and the intelligence of the microorganisms that have evolved have created antibiotic-resistant pathogens that are increasingly on the rise. A little data here. According to the CDC, over 2.8 million antibiotic-resistant infections arise annually in the U.S., and the actual financial cost of this problem is estimated to be around $4.6 billion per year. And that financial cost is not just treatment of those infections, but care for those who are sick, right? So parents, think about your kids. If your kids are always getting ear infections and they're having antibiotic resistance, this matters to you. The cost of caring for sick people is actually a cost factored into the cost of disease. Now, first and most vital step to solve this is to find out quickly whether or not a pathogen has mutated into a resistant strain. And unfortunately, right now, you grow it in a petri dish in a lab, you wait 2 days to see if it's able to grow in the presence of an antibiotic. It's a very long way to get the answer because you have to basically test it out against the drug. The time period is too long when there's life-threatening infections. So some folks at Washington State University have taken on the job. They have invented a new, more efficient method that dramatically shortens the time, Kristy, to 90 minutes.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very quick.
Yeah. So fast testing is achieved by tracking changes to the bacteria's metabolic activity and respiration after antibiotics. It's not waiting for it to replicate. It's waiting for it to breathe. Does it breathe differently, basically, when an antibiotic is present? So measuring this electrochemical activity of these pathogens allows researchers to see if they're still alive and kicking after facing treatment. Now, this has certainly been attempted in the past. They've tried it using electric signals from the bacteria. Measuring those signals was challenging. This team overcame the issue by introducing a chemical mediator into the mix, allowing the signal to be shuttled from one part of the testing site to another. Scientists hope that deeper understanding of the electrical mechanisms at play here can hopefully reduce the wait time to just minutes for all major infections so we can know how to treat them better. And the solution is if we know how to treat them better and we know we are approaching an antibiotic-resistant pathogen, you don't prescribe antibiotics. You don't put your child on 7 to 10 days of bubblegum medicine for 6 months. And, real tactical on a parenting standpoint here, Kristy, I've talked about it. Brennan's ear infections have we're at a point now that we're actually considering an interventional surgery known as ear tubes to help her not have so many ear infections. But we might just be turning the corner, but living her little life on antibiotics and bigger diseases, bigger illnesses that are antibiotic resistance. Nobody wants to do that. So it's time to sort of lighten our antibiotic reliance load and move into other treatments. So this one, between social justice, climate justice, improving the health and breathing of the world, and getting rid of overuse of antibiotics, I think we're going to just march into November with a healthy mindset.
Yeah. I think we have to wrap it up, Summers.
All right.
Super quick.
Do it. We do. You're right. We're running late. Hey, other stories. Extraordinary ways that people are responding to COP26, airlines eliminate plastic water cups, and much, much more.
There's an algae-filled bounce house that captures CO2 as children jump. Go check it out on the optimistdaily.com.
I love that one. Okay, we have to go to work now. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Become an emissary. We love you. Mean it. See you on Monday.
Bye. Have a good weekend.